Oh man, I always seem to cough up a lung right before I start. Better off to get it over with now. Hey, welcome back to the Raven part 3, I think. Okay, as I remember, we left off with Uncle Zelna was at the top of the ship looking at a fan. Which he no longer seems to be looking at. I think the game's messed up. Let me check the load game section. Yeah, he's definitely meant to be at the top. See if this one works. There we go. That is the right save. You know, my name's not really Dave.
A boat like this would also make a good hideout for a stowaway.
There's a lot of places that a stowaway could hide around here. Is there anything else up here, or... I think that's it. Just examine the lifeboat.
Were the tarpaulins arranged like that on purpose so that no one could put them back in order once they get in? You can tell at a glance that everything is ship-shape with this boat.
Well, there's nothing up here. Oh, there's something else here. Another axe.
Why is there an axe hanging here? I suppose it's for chopping through ropes in the event that the lifeboats can't be lowered. Or they use it to enforce who's allowed on the boat and who's not.
Huh. Oh, a door. And something else here.
There's dirt piled up in the corner. Down below where the passengers are, the ship is pretty clean. But the crew doesn't seem to care as much up here.
Well, why would you? Spend all day cleaning downstairs.
2 men, one of them navigating. I get the impression that the officers keep things running. It seems like the captain concentrates on the passengers and the bar.
Pretty typical cruise though, Mr. Zelna. It is the captain's duty to mingle and socialise.
I better let the men do their work. If one of them had detected something yesterday, he'd already have informed Legrand or the captain.
Alright, so there is nothing up here. Let's go back downstairs. The only other place we haven't gone is into the murder room. Zelna, come on. That's it, walk straight. We haven't gone into the
I hope I don't find myself needing a life jacket.
the murder room and the downstairs area. And we're looking for something to spike that guy's drink with. So let's have a look in the murder room, if we can get in. Come on, Zelna, in a straight line. That's it.
The cabin was sealed. I'm pretty sure the seal doesn't have any legal relevance here on the open sea, but I'm still dependent on Legrand letting me join his team. I better not blow it by breaking his seal without permission.
Yeah, don't piss off the guy that you're working for. Or trying to, anyway. Come in a straight line, Zelna. This way. That's it. I swear he's still drunk off that champagne from last night. This is a new area. What's this?
A pitiful attempt to make the interior of the ship seem less dreary. A bit of paint on the walls would have helped more, especially since a plant won't survive long without daylight. A model of the Lydia before it was rebuilt. It used to be a freighter. The wide hallways, the cabins, and the saloon were added later.
That explains the size of the ship, actually. If it was just an old hauler, rather than it being an actual cruise ship, because it is very small. Still nice though, even though he says it's drab. I'd still go there.
There are little stones in the flower pot.
Oh, we're gonna steal some stones.
Not only does the poor plant have to make do without sunlight, it doesn't have any soil either.
You're really mistreating these plants. Then again, you can grow plants in clay pebbles. Meant to be pretty good. Take
Really?
some.
What am I supposed to do with stones?
Dunno, Uncle Zona. We'll find out later. Just put them in your inventory.
Although, sooner or later.
Thank you. Let's see, what else? Always throw them at someone. Examine the alarm.
An alarm like this one was set off yesterday. This one hasn't been set off. The security seal is intact.
I was at a it was one of them family clubs once, and the fire alarms all went off, but there was no fire. And then when they were trying to figure out what had actually happened, it turned out that it was just a couple had got a bit overexcited, and one of them had slammed the other one up against the wall, and the wall happened to be the wall with the alarm on, and they'd shattered the alarm and switched it on, and caused 1,000 people to have to leave the whole room, like the whole premises.
I'm not paying for this trip, and that's a fair price for my cabin. It's rather plain, shall we say.
But it was in the 90s, and they were actually pretty polite about it. They actually got up on stage and apologized. Oh, the old days. People were pretty forgiving though, so.
An evacuation plan? And some tips from the doctor for avoiding seasickness, sunburn, and the like. And here, a schedule of activities. A drink with the captain, a shuffleboard competition on the forecastle. That's about it. A real barrel of fun.
Was Nelly playing? No, it wasn't the late 90s. It was somewhere around the mid 90s, more Alanis Morissette time. Moral of the story though, if you just apologise, people are going to be less angry at you. Sure, they'll be angry for a few minutes, but they're not going to be long term angry at you. And most people are pretty understanding. That's the medical room. Anything else down here? I think that's just my room.
That is Legrand's cabin.
Oh no, Legrand's cabin. Oh, can we go into his room? What's going on? Come on. Father Legrand. Honesty will get you a long way. And stress you out a lot less.
Ah, Zona. Are you ready?
Good morning, Inspector Legrand.
What a mess. He's only been there for one night.
My head is pounding, but I think I'm okay.
Chloral hydrate. That's why you have a headache. I found traces of it in your champagne glass.
The end goal of this game. Find the murderer and the thief and get a promotion and not die. Pretty good goals to me. Okay, circumstance of the crime.
What have you found out so far?
The Baroness was shot in the chest at close range. We heard the shot. The murderer quickly fled the cabin and dropped the murder weapon over the railing later. A simple story so far.
But why was her cabin door locked?
Exactly. If the murderer wanted to make it seem like a suicide, he'd have shot her in the head and left the gun at the crime scene.
And if it was murder, Why did he go to all the trouble of locking the door from inside? And how did he manage that anyway?
Especially since we arrived just a few seconds later and didn't see anyone near the cabin.
Something doesn't make sense here.
No, it doesn't, and it's driving me crazy.
Sounds an awful lot like the train incident again. You know, the locked door. Could he have fit through a window?
Did you find the murder weapon?
On the gangway on the side of the ship. I suspect the murderer tried to drop it into the sea. He would have stood close to the railing to let it fall unseen.
And since he doesn't know the ship, he had bad luck and dropped it right onto the gangway.
Indeed. And do you find that probable?
Not a bit.
Neither do I.
What kind of a gun is it?
A pistol, a Luger 08.
Antique.
Manufactured 1,000,000 times during and after the First World War. Austrian model. The owner is David Kreutzer, the violinist. We found him tonight totally drunk on the bow of the ship. He confirmed that it's his gun, but he claims that it was stolen from him.
The elf.
Fingerprints?
Nothing. But it's worth mentioning that the clip was missing 2 bullets.
And it's definitely the murder weapon.
The ballistic tests are incomplete. Actually, I've been waiting far too long for the bullet recovered from the corpse. Pay the good doctor a visit, Zellner, and see that he does his job.
Well, the doctor's always wearing gloves, and if it's missing 2 bullets, then it's probably the gun that was used to scare us earlier in the cargo hold. But yeah, that freaking elf. He brings a gun on the ship. Even if he's not the one who did it, he still brought the gun on the ship. Bloody elves, why do they always cause so much problems? Just don't bring guns on ships.
Do you believe the violinist?
He'll be the first person I question. He claims he can't remember anything from the last few hours. Says he drank a bottle of schnapps.
He was on the train and he doesn't have an alibi. His drunkenness could be a smokescreen.
He fits the profile. He travels a lot, has access to high society. Could be interesting.
I mean, he said that there was no fingerprints on the gun. And the doctor's always wearing gloves. So he wouldn't leave fingerprints behind.
And this chloral hydrate?
Is a tranquilizer. Can be dissolved in alcohol. The effect begins in minutes and lasts for hours. Who gave you the glass of champagne?
Well, the captain gave it to us, but it was the doctor that gave the glass to the captain. I noticed that when it happened. And the doctor would have had access to the drugs and know how much to actually dose it with.
I believe it was Captain De Conti.
If believing were enough for us, we'd have become priests, Constable. Be a policeman and find out for sure.
Understood. You think that the jewel thief is the murderer?
Our friend would have needed another key to open the safe and steal the second eye, the one the Baroness was carrying. At least, that's what we implied.
What do you mean?
The Baroness was famous for her forgetfulness. I convinced her to give me the third key. It seemed safer for the eye.
The thief searches the Baroness's cabin looking for the third key.
She returns from the saloon earlier than expected.
Surprises him, and he can't allow her to identify him.
He imprisons her until the coast is clear, and then shoots her.
And thus, the thief becomes a murderer.
But still doesn't have all the keys.
Oh, why though? Something missing about that.
Are you sure that there's no bomb inside this time?
Professor Lucien locked it in front of an audience, and it will be opened for the first time in Cairo.
Let's hope so.
It would take hours to crack it, and you'd need heavy machinery.
Or the keys.
Or the 3 keys, that's right.
She did leave a purse behind before, and the elf stole it.
Do you really think that the Raven is behind all this?
He wrote the letter that was on the safe in the train. Without the letter, we wouldn't have opened the safe and the bomb wouldn't have exploded.
But it doesn't seem like him, does it? The Raven was famous in part because he never hurt anyone, much less killed anyone, during a burglary.
It's his handwriting, and he called me Nico. No one else does that. I chased that man across Europe for years. It is him. It has to be him.
But the evidence...
Enough.
I'll be on my way. I want to find out who gave me the drugged champagne.
Good idea. And get the bullet from Dr. Gebhardt.
Of course.
Though I do still suspect the inspector as
Legrand?
well.
Are you okay? Maybe you should take a break.
I can sleep once I've caught the Raven. Goodbye, Constable.
Because he could have taken the
see.
key and be telling us a different story. And he knows way too much about the Ravens, seeing as he was the one that caught the first one. So he could be playing
Legrand
up
is
the
risking
Raven.
not just his career, but his health as well on his hunt for the Raven. He's working like a demon. Maybe that's why he caught the Raven and no one else.
There's a good strong possibility of more than one suspect. Oh, we can go to Irem, I think.
No, I've slept enough.
Okay, we can't go in there. Nothing else there. Come on, Uncle Zelna. Let's... Ooh, no. Zelna. Straight line. That's it. Let's go see the doctor.
Come in.
Oh man, I wouldn't like to
Hello,
be
Dr.
treated here.
Gebhardt.
And there's the next one.
Excuse me?
You want something else from me, don't you?
I'm afraid I do.
What a first day at work. Well,
He's surprisingly calm about all of this. Must be like the German in him.
What's the result of your examination of the victim?
she's dead.
I didn't make you work all night long, Dr. Gebhardt.
She was shot. Point blank shot. Probably with a pistol. It seems like she was lying in bed. The shot struck her heart. She died immediately.
One shot?
More were unnecessary. And we only heard one shot, no?
And there's just one entrance wound.
Just one.
But why did he shoot her if she was already incapacitated on the bed, though? I mean, she seems a bit drugged.
I am told that I was drugged.
That's how it seems.
What can you tell me about it?
Me? Why should that be my business?
Haven't you analyzed the glass?
No, I haven't. The inspector said he's the better chemist. I let him do it. That way I could at least concentrate on the body.
Do you think the Baroness might have been drugged? She was very tired and unsteady when Legrand and I saw her.
Yeah, I heard about that. I must have just missed her in the saloon. And without having seen her myself, it is hard to make a diagnosis.
Of course. Can you say something about her general health?
She was quite overweight, and the butler said that she suffered from diabetes. Despite that, she hadn't visited a doctor for several years.
Doesn't sound good.
Happens more frequently than you might suppose. Some people are scared of doctors and pay with an early death. It is possible that the Baroness wouldn't have lived much longer anyway.
Well, I can understand that. I don't like going to the doctor either. If she were awake, she'd struggle, and the murderer wouldn't have been able to set things up for the investigators to find things exactly how they are now. No, but he's saying that she was laying in bed unmoving. That's how he got such a perfect shot on her heart. Which makes it sound a bit... Why would you... Why would the thief change his whole manner of doing things like that, even to pollute the well of evidence? There's other ways to pollute the well of evidence. Very strange.
Do you know whose glass I drank from?
What do you mean?
Captain de Conti handed me a glass of champagne. But where did he get it?
I don't know. Did you ask him?
I'm just asking because you were also in the saloon when the champagne was served.
Yes, but I only entered the saloon a few seconds before you did. I didn't manage to get a drink myself.
Which
He's
in
lying.
retrospect, is lying.
He's
You're
lying.
right about that.
I specifically remember seeing him standing there with a glass of champagne, and then he handed it to the captain, who handed it to Zelna. He's lying. This is bizarre.
Have you already removed the bullet?
Did Legrand send you? What is that Frenchman's problem? I already told you. I will get in touch as soon as I have it. That is also what I told the constable, who he kept sending all night long, once I finally got rid of Legrand himself.
Did he look over your shoulder?
He probably wanted to take the scalpel from my hand and hack away himself. But this is my surgery, and I will not let amateurs interfere with my work.
That's understandable. How much longer will it take?
I have just finished.
All that drama.
Send my regards to His Majesty.
Thanks. I think that's it for now.
No. That is it for now, then, and later. I'm going to lie down for a few hours. Can you tell that to your boss?
But
Damn.
could I at least have the key?
Absolutely not.
But if we have to examine the victim again...
Then the esteemed inspector knows where to find me. In my cabin. In bed. Good night, Constable Zellner.
Good night, it's the morning. Yeah, this is full of a lot of uncertainty. It's very well written. That's really like thrown me though, because well, we know what happened with the other bullet, because there was a... Unless there's a second gun. But we were shot at when we were down in the cargo hold. And he was definitely lying about the drink, because I remember specifically seeing him. He was standing there holding champagne, and he handed it to the captain, who handed it to Zelna. And then he's going, oh, I don't know, I only just got there. And he's lying about that. I mean, he may be like he's sleep deprived and he just doesn't remember, but how like suspicious he got when asked the question. And he's so sure that he didn't know where it come from and blah, blah, blah. And he hadn't even touched the drinks. So, no, doctor, you were holding that drink. You're being suspicious. What were you doing with those drinks?
We're lucky that the Lydia has a well-stocked medical center at its disposal. I suppose it was added during the war. A ship of this size wouldn't normally have a full medical center.
Yeah, it would have had to have been stolen right away. Unless it was the elf. Though I do suspect that the elf might be an accomplice. But then I suspect elves of everything. Alright, let's give this guy the bullet.
Come in.
Suppose someone could have gotten it during the tunnel, but you would have thought he would have checked his luggage.
Constable.
About the bullet. Here it is.
Excellent. Give it to me. As I suspected, a 7.65 Parabellum Luger.
Don't you want to examine it in more detail?
When I have time. For now, though, we can assume that we have the murder weapon. There can't be too many antique Luger 08 pistols on board.
May I take a look at the Baroness's cabin?
We already searched it thoroughly.
Sure. But what about now, by daylight?
Yes, fine, it can't hurt.
Yay!
Here, take this with you.
Thanks. I'll let you know if I find anything important.
But only then, please. I'm very busy.
Of course.
Seems to be trusting us now. Good thing that we accidentally came along. I suppose if he's lying about being a violinist, then he wouldn't be bothered to check his violin. But if he's a violinist, the first thing you would do would be to check your violin, because that, you know, they're not cheap. Even like a second-hand one or a lower quality one, they're quite expensive. You check it if he actually is a violinist. If he's not a violinist and he didn't check, then who is he and what's he doing? Yeah, I think Legrand's got used to the idea of having a lackey around to help him. He still thinks he's the only one that could possibly do it, but an extra pair of eyes and a lackey. Always helpful.
About the tranquilizer.
Do you know how you wound up with the glass?
Not yet.
Then you should stop wasting my time and get back to work.
I'll be in touch if I uncover more clues.
Very well.
I need to talk to the captain if I can find him. I wonder if he's upstairs now. Oh, and we can also check the Baroness's room now.
The globe nicely shows that 4/5 of the Earth's surface is covered by water. Looking out the window, I'd call that an understatement.
I want to know if that globe is one of those ones where you pull the secret latch and it becomes a bar. I've always liked those. If I could ever find one, I would have one of those. Oh, there's the captain. Ooh, and Lady Westmacott.
The alcoholic drinks and everything that goes with them is top-notch on this ship. Fresh ice and tongs. They could be useful.
Yay, we took the tongs.
Constable Zelda, what is the meaning of this? Are even the police light-fingered nowadays?
I need this tool for a criminal investigation.
Well then, why didn't you say so? So, how are you getting along? Can I be of any help?
Actually, you could answer a few questions.
Oh yeah, those chess sets with the shot glasses. It's all sorts of weird things you can find like that. I quite like you know, they do those ones where you get the molds and then you freeze them, so it's little ice chess pieces, but they got the hollows in them so you can put your drink in them, and it keeps the drink cool. So you're playing and drinking and like that. Events last night.
What was your experience of last night?
Oh, terrible. Dinner was fantastic. was excited about having a pleasant drink under the stars. And then this.
You were in the saloon all night long.
As the captain, I have to care for my passengers. After you and the others rushed out, I tried to maintain a festive atmosphere. But when the alarm it goes off, I lose the battle.
I like how everyone's so cheerful in this game. The Baroness.
How was the Baroness?
She really surprised me. After she was so unapproachable at the reception and didn't show her face for the entire afternoon, I was afraid she was one of the bores and bourgeoisie. But then she arrived in the early evening in the best of moods. Already had a few, if you know what I mean.
Did she say anything to you?
She asked me where Legrand's cabin was. I told her, then invited her to come for drinks in the evening. I said it would be great fun. The whole ship will be there, and you don't want to miss that, I told her.
And then?
She seemed to like the idea. She smiled and then left again for a few minutes. Then she came back and seemed very happy. We drank a toast to life.
Yeah, the captain seems a bit on the too happy and too dim side. And there's nothing wrong with being moist. The whole thing with the Baroness seems a bit strange. Like, was she doping on something, or was she already poisoned?
But at some point she didn't feel well anymore?
She overdid it a bit. She suddenly started to swoon and almost spilled her drink. I asked her if she wanted to rest for a moment in her cabin. At first, she didn't want to. She definitely wanted to stay in the saloon. But then she realized that she really did need to lie down. We left together. You know the rest of the story.
Well, she did say something earlier that made her really shocked, that she fainted and we had to slap her. So maybe she was drinking beforehand to sort of get through the trauma of whatever she saw. Or maybe whoever she saw, she spoke to them and was really happy. A Coke now? What's a Coke now? Is that like one of them really tough thumbnails someone grows to break up more easily their skunk?
Did everyone drink from the same bottle of champagne last night?
There was more than one bottle, if that's what you mean. There were quite a few guests, and the event lasted several hours.
The last bottle of champagne, the one the Baroness drank from, did anyone else drink from it?
Certainly.
We have reason to believe that the champagne was drugged.
Incredible. But wouldn't that have made everyone drowsy?
Not if it was only the Baroness's glass that was drugged.
I see. That's possible. On a night like that, many glasses are filled and emptied. There are several stewards, many guests. No one keeps track of every glass and every bottle.
A few drops in a glass?
Yes, it's certainly possible.
Well, you learn something new every day. If I see someone with an overgrown pinky, I know what's up.
The glass you handed me last night, where did you get it?
Ah, I understand. You think your glass was poisoned as well?
Did you pour it yourself?
No. I saw that you weren't doing so well and wanted to rescue the situation. I took the first available glass and I give it to you.
Was it on the table?
No, I hurry over to you, together with Dr. Gebhardt, who... Of course. He had the glass in his hand. He was looking around for a place to set it down, so that he could examine you. I took it from him.
And gave it to me.
I'd like to apologize for that, but you look so worse for the wear, and I just wanted to comfort you. I didn't think of looking for a new glass for you.
So the doctor had the drugged glass in his hand.
I told you so. The doctor had the glass and he gave it to the captain. Can't get it past me. Wait, Carrie Fisher? Really? We'll have to watch Star Wars again and have a look.
Is it possible to find out where the alarm was set off?
I'm afraid not. There are alarms all over the ship.
I saw that they're sealed. Can't we just check whether the seal is broken?
I'm afraid they're gonna be missing on a lot of alarms. You know, this is an old ship, and over the years...
So, you're saying that the alarms haven't been regularly maintained?
I'll inform the crew immediately, of course.
Of course.
Well, that's not good. Broken alarms. I don't know. I would have suspected Mark Hamill more. I mean, have you seen him lately? And he's random rants on Twitter. He's really kind of lost the plot. Passengers.
What can you tell me about the passengers?
Oh, not that much, I'm afraid. I wanted to get to know them properly at the reception. In most cases, I just shook hands with them as they boarded the ship. There are a few regulars on board, and after dinner, I had a conversation with Mr. Kreutzer, a talented violinist, and Lady Westmacott. But you already know them from the train.
It seems like there aren't that many passengers on board.
These bloody airplanes are making our lives miserable. Can you imagine? Grown men prefer to jam themselves into a narrow metal coffins instead of enjoying the fresh sea air on a ship.
It's all about saving time.
It shouldn't be about how much time it takes to get from A to B, but about how you spend that time. What do you experience on the journey? That's what it's about.
I'll get back to my investigations now.
Ciao, Constable.
I've got to agree with the ship captain, because I remember when I was thinking about going to visit New York, and I've never been on a plane before, so I was a bit about it, and I really didn't want to have to be on a really cheap seat going a long distance, being a bit upset about actually being on a plane for a first time. And I was looking up the pricing, and to go on a mid decent plane seat, not first class, but the mid ones, was about the same amount of money it would cost to take a week cruise to New York from the UK. And then I was just looking at it going like, I would rather be on the week cruise back and forth, because those cruise ships look so nice. I know it takes an extra week, but wouldn't you rather enjoy extra holiday time, get to experience a bit of the sea, enjoy what's going on the cruise ship, then get to your destination and come back the same way? Seems much better to me. I don't think it really matters if he poured it, because if he put something in it himself, that would do the same thing. Let's see, let's have a look at Lady Westmacott.
Lady Westmacott seems to be an early bird, but maybe that's just because of all the excitement. I saw a twinkle in her eye on the train. She's eager to be part of a real detective story.
Yeah. Well, she'd be a good knowledge base as well.
Lady Westmacott, already on your... Oh,
Constable, don't you think before you speak?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to.
No time for chit-chat. What have you found out?
We're still working on the case. Actually, I have a couple of questions for you.
Please, go ahead.
She's basically Miss Marple and he's Poirot. That's the feeling I get about this. Thing is with a lot of those cruise ships now, they have like those stabilizers in them, so you don't get so much rocking. So most people don't get seasick on cruises anymore. Worth a try anyway.
What did you think of our adventure on the train? An extraordinary story, isn't it?
I'm glad that you were able to prove yourself, Mr. Zellner.
Hopefully not for the last time.
I'm glad that everything ended well. I want to thank you sincerely for taking care of Matthew. I can't bear to think about something happening to him.
It all worked out in the end.
She's really involved with that kid, even though he's usually away at boarding school. I wonder if the mother isn't actually a companion and actually is her daughter. Because I mean, back in those days, if you had a child out of wedlock, you'd have to hide it away. Would be an interesting turn of events.
Do you think that the thief from the train and the murderer are the same person?
I think the new Raven is capable of anything.
Legrand believes there is no new Raven. He thinks that the old one has returned.
He said that.
Do you think it's possible? Everyone thinks he's dead.
As a dramatist, the return of the Raven would certainly be delightful. A legend comes back from the grave for one last job. It's quite romantic. At the same time, though, I'd be disappointed.
Why is that?
I followed the Raven's career closely. There weren't many burglars with such character and charm. His burglaries were clever and entertaining, but he was sloppy in London. He almost got caught, and I'll never forgive him for the affair on the train. No, I would much rather that the Raven stayed dead and had nothing to do with the burglary or the murder.
I've got to agree with her on that one. It'd be much more fun if it's a new person rather than an old person that's gone all sloppy. I mean, you don't want to come out of retirement just to ruin the legacy you left behind in your career.
What do you think? Who is our suspect?
Everyone, or almost everyone. Everyone on board is physically capable of shooting someone. But who has the dark desire to take the life of a defenseless person?
One cannot read minds.
And one should not try. You have to collect evidence, traces, clues. That's what will lead us to the killer. It won't be like a bad crime novel, in which they introduce a new character shortly before the end who, surprise, surprise, is also the murderer.
Murderers leave evidence. They're nervous or unnaturally relaxed. They have to adjust constantly.
And because of that, they make mistakes. This is your chance, Constable. If you find the mistake, you'll find your murderer.
Well, I already feel like the doctor's already made at least one mistake. Yeah, I suppose it could be a case of, you know, elderly person that's alone and she's just got a bit overly attached. But, you know, I like the drama idea.
Have you noticed anything related to the murder?
Unfortunately not. I was already in my cabin and missed all the commotion. Damnable old age.
You're telling me.
Oh, you're still young. At my age, you have to expect that you won't experience much anymore. And although I've written about murder so many times, I've never actually witnessed one. How exciting.
I doubt everyone is so relaxed in such a situation.
Heartless is the word you're searching for, right, Constable? I certainly didn't want the Baroness to be murdered, but if I can't undo it, then I might as well enjoy it.
I suppose it could be like maybe the... Because we haven't seen the butler. Maybe the butler finally snapped and killed her and made it look like it's part of the whole thief thing going on.
What do you think of Inspector Legrand?
He seems to be as skilled as everyone says. Intelligent, focused. I had a chat with him yesterday, and he impressed me, but there's something haunted in his eyes.
I don't think he ever really stopped hunting the raven.
Catching the raven made him famous. What if he actually shot the wrong person? Unjustified fame bothers people, the good ones at least.
And you think he's one of the good ones?
Anyone who tries so hard to tear down his own memorial must be honorable. Or insane.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course.
Well, Legrand does come across a little bit insane, but no, we haven't seen the butler since the time he told us to slap her harder before we boarded the boat. And thinking back, I remember the butler saying something about he was in the wars. So it's possible he could have another version of that old gun. Because, you know, in those days especially, they would keep the gun as a keepsake. And he was in the right wars. Oh, straight line there, Zelna. Come on. That's it. Wait, what's that on the table? Nothing, we can't look at it. Anything over here? We go into that room. No. Straight line, Zelna, come on. That's it. Alright, let's have a look at the Baroness's room. Looks to me like the tape's already been cut.
This is the first murder scene I've ever set foot in.
Bit of
The
a dusty
notepad
looking
has
room.
the ship's emblem on it. I suppose all the first-class cabins have them.
What are we supposed to do with this? Ah, we're doing one of these. Inspector. Be in the saloon. At 10 p.m. there is a murderer on board, and I will expose him. Ooh.
It says, Inspector, be in the saloon at 10 p.m. There
Who
is
did
a
she
murderer
see?
on board, and I will expose him. B. The Baroness seems to have known the murderer, and that means that the Raven can't be the murderer. He never killed anybody. Legrand probably never got the message, otherwise he'd have said something.
I wonder if it's the captain. Like, if he's just randomly the murderer. He's not the thief, he's just the murderer. Because he's the only one I remember her seeing from, like, when we picked up the glasses and looked through them. The people she saw were the Captain Legrand, the elf, and the elfess. I wonder if it's the captain. And she was being overly friendly with him because she was trying to get his guard down or something. Just from the way he was talking about her behaviour. Interesting.
The mannequin surely came with the cabin. A mannequin for the Baroness's clothes would have a more generous figure.
And he was the one who poured her drinks by his own words.
The portholes face the side deck. If someone climbed out of the cabin through a porthole, Legrand and I would have seen them.
The captain would probably have keys in order to lock doors from the outside, you know, and open them again as well. Because usually, like, a captain will have master keys to everything.
The portholes are locked. One cannot open or close them from outside. It's the same problem as with the door. If someone left the cabin through the porthole, how did they lock it? And the Baroness wasn't shot from outside. The doctor said she was shot at close range. Apparently, the Baroness didn't have time to unpack her bags. Or rather, didn't have time to tell her butler to unpack them for her.
Where is that butler?
Sifting through all that would take ages. But here, the Baroness's handbag. Aha! A small leather-bound book. 1964 is engraved on it. This must be the Baroness's diary.
Oh man, you should never read a lady's diary. Or ask her age.
Cosmetics, a handkerchief, a spectacles case. Nothing special.
Let's read the diary.
Let's see. Yes, it's a diary, all right. Difficult to read. No entry from yesterday.
Or was the entry taken?
A brief, sober description of what she's done recently. Met Morris, arranged benefit concert for renovation of Louvre Southeastern Wing, Times photo shoot for Eye of Sphinx, BM, poor excuse for photographer, too fidgety, and so on. This entry looks strange. The handwriting is shaky, difficult to read. Dreamt of Bobby. Yesterday would have been his birthday. Next week, Jay's.
I wonder if that was her children. Maybe she lost them in the war. Because, back in the 30s and 40s when World War II kicked off, the military didn't upgrade straight away. It was still running on the First War way of doing things with horse cavalry and stuff like that, when the enemy had machine guns. And because the cavalry had a tendency to be run by the upper class young men, they got, mowed down and killed, like pretty much straight away. So a lot of the upper class young men just didn't come home at all, which is pretty much the beginning of the end of the class system in the UK.
The Baroness was a very busy woman, and it looks like she had to cope with loss. She writes about Bubby and Jay. Neither seem to be alive anymore. Almost every family lost loved ones in the war. Maybe hers as well.
There we go, he's talking about the war. So she's probably one of the people that her family didn't come home, so she's taken to doing all of this charity work because it's all she's got really left to do. And when you've got a lot of money in the house, nothing to do with it and no one to leave it to, you might as well express your pain out through charity work, which a lot of people did back then. Which is why you don't have so many super rich upper class people that, are born into wealth. They usually earn wealth now.
I'll leave it there. I don't have time to read all of it.
Fair point, Zelna. Ooh, examine the vase.
A big, ugly, and impractical vase.
It is
if it
pretty
had a wider
ugly.
opening, one could at least use it as an umbrella stand.
Wonder if anyone hid anything inside it.
Can't see anything. Wow, heavier than it looks.
feathers.
Aha!
I built a pot like that in my ceramics class, except for it had like 2 tiers on it, and the handles ended up breaking off, sadly. Very difficult to have really thin handles on such a big, heavy pot.
Why were the down feathers tossed in the vase? Or is there anything else in there? There may be something else in the vase, but the neck is too narrow
Wonder
to
if we can
reach
use
in
the
with my
tongs.
hand.
Let me see if I can use the tongs on this.
Could work. There's something in there. Ah,
What is it?
someone stuffed this in the vase. Looks like it's been used to muffle a gunshot. If this isn't an
Ooh.
important discovery, I don't know what is.
Looks like it's part of the pillows.
Legrand, here I come.
But all the pillows are there, so did they take a pillow from another first class suite? Which would then probably indicate the butler again. Okay, what's... Nope. Face the right way, Zona. That's it.
A tape recorder. Must go with the built-in speakers. Probably part of the cabin's furnishings.
Man, I know like it's all impractical now, but I really love the design of old-fashioned things like that tape recorder. I mean, it's big and bulky, it gets in the way, but they just have kind of a nice feel to them. Like things nowadays, they're so small and so thin, and it doesn't really feel like they're anything. They've got no weight to them. They just sort of, you can just fold them away. But things like that, they have a little presence about them. And when you put them in the room, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's not just decorative. It kind of feels like your house is actually full of working things. You know what I mean? Like you actually own stuff, rather than owning a load of flat pieces of metal that do things. Just something about them. Right way down up there we
The
go.
tape recorder is older than the hills, but it was once very expensive. Top of the range. And it doesn't come cheap.
What's it say on it?
Strange. There's only one reel.
So someone took one
And
of the
it's
reels.
the wrong one. No. No sign of the original reel.
So she was recording something rather than writing in her diary. What was it?
A reel made by Zeibling. I know the brand. Zeibling's tapes can be overwritten many times without losing quality. They're used in offices so that executives can record messages for the secretaries on the same tape over and over again. But they're not good for much else. They're robust, but they don't offer much in terms of sound quality.
Which you would have on a ship like this. The other thing as well, it's like with furniture nowadays, because it's all like that cheap MDF flat pack stuff. It all looks the same. So back in the old days, like people actually made the furniture, so they added little bits of character to them. It wasn't just like the same piece of furniture over and over again. Things just lack character nowadays. It does just make you feel a bit like you're living in a box with other boxes, rather than living in a home. I wish they would bring that back. But I suppose that's what DIY helps with. You can take some of these flat pack boxed items and add your own character to them. Yeah, post-war. Although I do kind of like... I do like some of the 50s stuff. I like that kind of that rounded feel they tended to have. Very bubblicious. Okay, we're taking that for later. Let's have a look at the bed. Where are you going, Zelna? Zelna,
The most unportable portmanteau I've ever seen.
that's not what I clicked on. I think the game's tripping out. Let me have a quick save. No, no. Zelna, this way, that's it. The bed, please.
There's still blood on the mattress. The sheet and the blanket have already been removed. To analyze them, I suppose.
That bloodstain's a bit high up for her being shot in the chest.
Nothing. The blood spot is the only sign that someone committed a crime in here. Somehow... That's odd. The blood is so... red. Shouldn't it gradually darken in the air? Turn brown?
It should. So what was going on? Was there something in her blood? I wonder if she actually died earlier from something that she drank. But she was also given something that stopped her blood from coagulating. And then they shot her while she was actually dead on the bed. And her blood's just still not coagulating because of the chemical in it. Because they were trying to make it look like she was killed through the gunshot rather than from poisoning.
The unusual color of the blood could be something that Legrand and Dr. Gebhardt missed last night. All cats are gray in the dark, as the saying goes. I should take a sample.
Definitely.
The unusual... All
said that.
cats are...
How do we take a sample then? This from the Baroness. Ice cube tons. No, that doesn't do anything. I don't know how we take a sample. I'm pointing at the bed. Why do you keep going over there? For some reason, to look at that trunk, you have to press on the bed. Oh, Velna. Oh, something up above.
Another alarm. It was tripped at some point. The seal is broken. But there's no way of telling whether it happened yesterday or 5 years ago.
Interesting.
The door frame was damaged when Dr. Gebhardt kicked it in. The real question is, why was the door locked in the first place?
I don't think licking the bloodstain would be a good way of bringing in a sample. Why does he keep looking at... I have to keep going over to the bed in order to look at the trunk. Mapping issues. Test your games.
A portable bar is more like it. Must be hard work transporting this big, heavy thing halfway around the globe. And the Baroness was lucky that the other freight cars were only lightly damaged by the explosion.
Damn. He likes to drink. Because I would too if I had diabetes and my family was dead. So I can't blame her.
An impressive piece, but I don't think it'll get me anywhere with the murder investigations.
Alright, so there's nothing in there. I need to find a way to get a sample. Oh, examine painting. No, not that way. Oh, there's something under the bed.
Something's under there. Down feathers. Maybe from a quilt or a pillow. Nothing special. Although, It seems like one of the feathers was scorched at the top, literally burnt. I'll take it with me.
Interesting. I'm still getting the feeling that a pillow was taken from another room.
More feathers, and they're singed as well. I'd better take it with me.
Anything else? I can't take a sample, so...
The unusual color of the... all cat?
No. Alright, I've got to look for... Oh, wait. Where's that? Examine painting.
Sunflowers. By Van Gogh, I presume. He liked to paint that sort of thing. Can't be an original. They cost thousands of francs.
A lot more than that nowadays. Okay, so... There seems to... Zelna. Straight line.
There should be a ventilation shaft behind the hatch. Usually a
Ah.
good way to break in and out undetected.
That guy, we
But
found him
not
by
on
a
a ship.
ventilation
The
hatch
ventilation
at the
shafts
top.
are very small here.
I wonder if he could have slipped in and then gone back up and come out when we found him at the top.
I can't say why, and it seems impossible. But something tells me that the murderer entered and left the cabin through the door. The only question is how.
I need to find something to get a sample off of that bedsheet. Oh, the butler's back. Funny how he appears just as I wanted to find him to have a chat. He looks very nervous. But then again, he's just been ungainfully unemployed. Not sure that sentence works quite there, but... Where would I find something to get a sample with, though? Let's have a quick look in here again. Has to be something. No, he's still looking at the sunshine. I think she has anything. Zelna, straight line. That's it. Anything out here? Back in them days as well, jobs for butlers went downhill. Not a lot need for them. He's going to be having trouble to get employed. Right, doesn't seem to be anything out here to pick up. I don't think there's anything up. He's still sleeping. Nothing here. Alright, let's go talk to the used manservant. Come on, Zelda, you can do it. What are you doing with your head? He looks very uncomfortable.
The Baroness's butler looks like he didn't get much sleep. I would describe his facial expression as worried.
I'd be worried too.
Hello, Mr. Inch.
Oh, Constable, hello.
You look the worse for wear. It must be terrible for you.
Quite terrible. No one will hire me now.
Excuse me?
My mistress was murdered. Would you hire a butler who's been mixed up in a murder?
But if it turns out that you're not guilty...
If. But what if not? Who else would they blame? There are no gardeners on this ship.
I understand your problem. Under these circumstances, I'm sure you'd answer some questions that could help clear your name, wouldn't you?
Of course.
Well, he's got legit reason to be worried, so I'm not suspecting him at the moment.
Did you notice anything suspicious last night?
No, sir. After the Baroness went to the saloon, I went to the forecastle. I was there until the alarm went off. I went to the side deck and arrived shortly after Professor Lucien and Miss Miller. We found you and Inspector Legrand there. You were unconscious, and the inspector asked us to take care of you.
Interesting, interesting.
Did you hear the gunshot?
No, just the alarm, sir.
Wonder if there is a second gun and maybe they shot her using the silencer with the pillow and then went outside, shot again to get everyone's attention. Turkey mayo sandwich.
You said you were on the forecastle. It sounded like the Baroness let you have the rest of the night off.
Not entirely, sir. One of the crew informed me that the Baroness wanted to be roused at 10:15.
Right. Why was that?
I suppose that she wanted to toast the success of the journey with the captain and the other passengers.
She hadn't intended to take a nap then.
That was not her way, sir. She had a lot of spirit, shall we say, when it came to social engagements and a glass or two of champagne.
She was a very happy-go-lucky woman.
The Baroness's cabin seems to have been ransacked.
Indeed, sir, by the Baroness herself.
Really?
She was searching for something the entire afternoon.
And did she find it?
I think she did, sir, yes. She was in high spirits when she finally left her cabin.
You wouldn't happen to know what she was looking for, would you?
I'm afraid not.
Odd, butlers usually know everything. Hello, Diego. Welcome back. Orderly woman.
Would you describe the Baroness as orderly?
Well, she always had a lot of responsibilities, sir.
That doesn't answer my question.
She used to take a lot of luggage on journeys, and I helped her keep track of it as best I could. She was always very angry when she couldn't find something.
What about the photos and the documents I saw in her cabin?
I really don't know. They were out of bounds to me, sir. Memories from the war, I'd say. They meant a lot to her.
Again, quite interesting because butlers usually know everything about the people they work for. It's kind of part of their job. Then they know what they need and what they need to do quickly, and she's very secretive with him.
The Baroness seemed to be pretty drunk the last time I saw her.
Is that so?
Does that surprise you? Did the Baroness not drink?
Oh, yes, she drank. It was no secret.
I understand. How serious was her habit?
Serious enough, sir.
Was she under any medical supervision?
Certainly not, sir. She adamantly refused to see a doctor. Like so many elderly women, she had a distinct aversion to hospitals and the like.
Cannot blame her. I don't like hospitals either. Or doctors. I mean, they have to trick me to come in to do a yearly blood test.
How long had you worked for the Baroness?
6 months, sir.
Only 6 months. I always thought that butlers stayed with their employers for decades.
Those decades have to start at some point, Constable. Her former butler wasn't able to fulfill his duties any longer. Gout, sir.
I understand.
I took on his duties and hoped for a secure position for the next 20 years.
The butler looks like he's getting on a bit, so... Shame.
May I ask what happened to your arm?
A souvenir from the war, sir.
Doesn't it hinder your work?
Yes, sir, obviously.
I didn't mean to offend you.
The Baroness had a soft spot for disabled veterans. I think she'd been through a lot herself.
I think that's all for now.
Please, sir, find the murderer. You have to clear me of all suspicion.
I'll try, Mr. Butler. Hello, Castus. Welcome back as well. So we've had a chat with him. Still have not located something to get a sample with. I wonder if to actually go downstairs. Zelna, straight line. I wonder if we have to actually go downstairs and get like a sample kit or something from Legrand.
A singed pillowcase is proof that there must have been a second gunshot.
Oh, we went straight for it.
Inspector?
Was that blood?
Can't you knock?
I didn't realize. I'm really...
I'm not getting anywhere. I'm going to question each passenger individually. Anyone without an airtight alibi will be checked for gunshot residue.
But, Inspector...
People trip up when you put pressure on them, Constable Zellner. The Raven is nervous. He's changed his methodology and become a murderer.
Or he's someone else.
I'll see it in his eyes. After you.
But, Inspector Legrand...
Well, he's lost the plot. That butler's all
We have
boned.
no
You
proof
won't
that
want to
the
eat
Raven
him.
and the murderer are the same person.
You may not know it, but I do. I will catch him with or without your help.
What a weirdo.
I don't believe it. What's gotten into him? Ah, well. It makes no sense to tell him about my theories if his opinion is already set. I need evidence. Or better yet, the murderer. I also need his lab if I'm going to get anywhere. I need to get in there somehow. And I really need to talk to the stowaway. He may have information, and the inspector will just ignore him, since he's too young to be the Raven.
We gotta pick a lock.
Legrand locked the door. The lock isn't especially secure. If I had a wire or something like that, I could probably pick it.
Let's see if we can find Matt's mother again. Borrow some more of her bobby pins. Definitely
The
don't have
metal of
anything
the tongs feels cold from the smooth handle all the way to the tips. I need something to open the lock. The key would be best, but a wire would do.
Unless we can get the key off of the captain. Well, I can't go into my room. Zelna! Straight line. That's it.
Dr. Gebhardt closed the curtains from inside, which was the right thing to do. Who'd want to be greeted by a corpse on the way to breakfast? Neither Dr. Gebhardt nor Constable Oliver can keep up with Legrand's pace. But in contrast to good old Robert, the doctor doesn't let himself get roped in for the long haul. I wonder what would happen if Legrand dragged him out of bed for another investigation.
Driving mental. Yeah, he probably is some sort of accomplice. I mean, we do know that the Raven worked with accomplices before. Why wouldn't you? Where would Matt's mother be? Oh look, it's the elf.
Mr. Kreutzer, come on, you have to give me a bit more. You're the only one who was on the train and who has no alibi for last night.
As I said, I was in my cabin.
Are you sure that it was your cabin and not the Baroness's?
Legrand will question the guests one after another. But if he doesn't get the answers that he wants to hear, it could become unpleasant for them. Mr. Kreutzer clearly feels uneasy. But does Legrand actually think he's the Raven? He was on the train and has sticky fingers, that's true. But he doesn't have the profile of an international master criminal.
Too much of a lazy elf.
Legrand is absorbed in the interrogation. He still seems pretty annoyed. The violinist seems to be bearing the brunt of it. Mr. Kreutzer, but he doesn't have...
Okay, so we can't interact with them.
Lady Westmacott, may I bother you for a moment?
By all means, Mr. Zellner.
Questioning.
How is the questioning going?
Are you implying that I'm an eavesdropper? The inspector is placing a lot of pressure on our dear Mr. Kreutzer. He's the only one who was on the train and who doesn't have an alibi for last night.
Perhaps. But him? A murderer?
I know people like him. He doesn't have enough backbone to kill someone in cold blood and remain so calm. He'd turn it into a drama and then a farce, drink himself insensible, and then, railing at fate, pitch himself into the sea. Forget him. Legrand is wasting his time. Mr. Kreutzer just happens to be a perfect fit for the inspector's image of the Raven.
Athletic, cultured, moves among the rich and famous.
I'll eat his violin if he's the Raven or the murderer.
I have to be going, Lady Westmacott.
Please keep me informed, Constable Zellner.
Of course.
I like the way she thinks. She just perfectly described an elf. Oh, we can look at things over here now. Zellner! Straight line. Thank you. What can we steal?
Excellent.
Oh, an empty cup of coffee.
That's just what I needed.
Hopefully it's not drugged again.
English ham and eggs. One advantage on an international trip is the international breakfast. Many of my fellow countrymen think it's outrageous to eat fried bacon, sausages, or anything heavy for breakfast. I, on the other hand, think ham and eggs are the only worthwhile contribution the English have made to international cuisine.
You dick! Uncle Zellner! Oh my gosh. I don't even like English breakfast. I'm so offended. Wait, Castus, you're an elf? I do not approve. I don't think we could steal anything from here. You just...
Coffee is not bad at all.
Oh
but
no.
one cup is enough.
We broke the game.
It's not fair. There's a magnificent buffet, but I don't have an appetite. Maybe a side effect of the tranquilizer.
Man, I really want some ham and eggs now. I don't even like ham and eggs. Zelda, straight line. Come on. Oh man, they really need to. They really need to have playtested this. It's so hard to get him just to walk in one direction. Where is Matt and his mother? Oh. Well. That's decidedly more pleasant.
Miss Mayers seems to have found an opportunity to do nothing.
Perfect.
Hello, Miss Mayers.
Hello, Mr.
Constable Zellner.
I see you're sunbathing there.
Do you think it's appropriate to go sunbathing in a situation like this?
What situation?
A woman was murdered last night.
If refusing to sunbathe could bring the dead back to life, I'd go back to my cabin immediately.
She has a point. Events?
Did you hear or see anything suspicious last night?
No, I didn't feel very well last night. I went to bed early.
So, you're feeling better this morning?
Thanks for asking.
Interesting. Well, you know, the other elf was chasing her around. Maybe she wasn't feeling very well and went to bed with him.
I'm sure your parents are truly sorry that they can't be with you at this difficult time.
Maybe, but I'm not a little girl anymore. And thinking about my fiancé keeps me going.
You're engaged?
Yes, my boyfriend and I got engaged right before the trip. I want to surprise my parents, especially my dad.
I'm sure he'll be very surprised. But what will you do if your father doesn't agree to the engagement?
What choice does he have when he put me on this boat full of thieves and murderers in the first place?
Charming. Enjoy the sun, Miss Mayers, and don't let us disturb you.
If you're trying to make me feel guilty, Constable, it's not working.
She's definitely an elf. The arrogance is just enough. Right, it's the captain. Donna, you gonna talk to
Captain
him?
DeConti seems old and tired. The price you pay for a life like his, I suppose. I believe I've got everything I can out of him. There's nothing more he can tell me at the moment.
Oh, I wanted to see if he had a key. Apparently not. I wonder if Matt and his mother is on that deck with the crazy looking game board. Whatever that game's called. Take a look. Yep, there's Matty. Our little sidekick. Ah, looks like his mother's over there talking to Professor Lucian.
Matt is keeping himself busy with that strange game. He seems to be okay again, but I think he'd be running around all over the place if he'd really come to terms with what happened on the train.
Not hopscotch. Sounds about right.
Hello there, partner.
Hi.
Are you alright?
Uh-huh.
Ah, Castus, I do not eat elves. That would just be wrong. They're poisonous.
Have you recovered from our adventure?
Mm-hmm. Mr. Zellner,
Hmm?
what's going on?
What do you mean?
Everybody's acting so strange, and there's tape across that door. I saw that in a movie once.
You don't have to be worried.
Is it about the man from the train?
It might be about the thief, yes.
Haven't you caught him yet?
I'm working on it.
Okay.
Oh, I trust us.
I heard you and your mom used to argue a lot.
We did. Everything was bad. The house, school, the other kids. We didn't have much money, and I was always alone.
You do know that your mother would love to have been with you, don't you? She had to go out to work to earn money.
She wouldn't have had to, if Dad were still around.
And how do you get along with her now?
I'm always happy when we do something together on vacation. She has more time for me now, and I like my boarding school. I have lots of friends, and the teachers aren't so bad.
Sounds like you've got a good life there, kid.
Your mother and Professor Lucien seem to be on very good terms with each other. Don't you like him?
Don't know.
He seems to be very nice.
I guess.
I gotta agree with you, kid. There's something shifty about him.
Lady Westmacott is all by herself in the saloon. Maybe you'd like to visit her later.
Sure. The lady tells exciting stories.
I know. She's my favorite writer.
She told me that it's not much fun to write detective novels. She'd rather write something else, but her fans always want the same thing.
They made her rich and famous.
I told her to write what she wants to write. If it's good, someone will buy it. And if not, at least she had fun writing it. Then she smiled and nodded. She said it was a good idea.
You're a good kid, Matt. Very wise. Why is it always little kids that are so freaking wise?
What are you playing there?
I'm playing shuffleboard. At least I'm trying to.
Never played it before.
It's easy. Professor Lucien explained it to me.
And who won?
We didn't play.
You didn't want to play with him, did you? Do you want to play a game with me?
Sure.
Of course, everyone wants to play a game with Uncle Zelna. Oh, what's the rules?
I think you'll have to explain the rules to me first.
Okay, you play with the blue pucks and I play with the red ones. You have to push the pucks with this stick into the zone over there and score as many points as possible.
Sounds easy. How many pucks do I have?
6. Now here comes the kicker. First it's your turn, then mine, and so on. But everyone is allowed to shoot the other person's pucks out of the zone.
Kind of like that bowls game we were doing in the Sherlock Holmes one. Alright, let's give it a go.
Let's get started.
Oh yeah. What are we playing for?
I thought we'd just play for fun.
That's boring. We have to bet something. Otherwise it isn't fun.
You English people.
So I'll bet my brand new slingshot. And you?
I don't want to gamble.
How about ice cream in Cairo?
Okay. If I win, I get the slingshot. If I lose, I get an ice cream in Cairo.
Hey! Never try to cheat Matt Miller. So, what do you say? Ice cream versus slingshot?
Clever
all
Uncle
right.
Zelna.
Let the games begin.
At least I now know what those stones are going to be for. We need to get his slingshot. Right, how do I do this? Press A button to start the game. Oh, there we go. Ooh, a 9. Got a 10. Ah. Well, at least I still got that 9. Oh man. Alright, let's hit his. Alright, a little bit less. A little bit to there. Oh. Alright, I'm terrible at this. can just... I think I just made it worse. Oh, I made it a lot worse. Whoops.
Rats.
Haha, I win. That's one ice cream for me.
You've been practicing.
Alright, one more
This
time.
time I'll win.
Nah, I doubt that.
Damn these games. Okay. That was way too much. Ooh, got it that time. Ah. This game... I would never like to play this game in real life. Okay. This is my last one. I need to try and whack as many of them red ones off as possible. Oh, I still lost. The AI is too good.
Oh.
I win a... That's another ice cream.
One more
This
time.
time I'll win.
Nah, I doubt that.
Come on, kid. I need your slingshot. For what? I don't know. Ah. Oh, thanks, kid. Yes. Oh, I'm getting better slightly. So long as the AI is doing terrible. Let's try and knock his red away. Oh. Oh. No matter how strategically I try to play, I seem to make it worse. Come on. At least I knocked one of his away. That help? Oh, we're equal. You knocked me on an 8. That would have been nice. I lost by 1 point. 1
I win
point.
again. That's another ice cream.
Oh, God's
This time
sake.
I'll win.
Nah, I doubt that.
Screw you, kids. Screw you. I used to like you. Now I just hate you. Ugh. Oh, come on. Yes! Do not knock me out. Okay. I'm gonna try and knock him out. Ha ha ha! Try and knock him out again. A little bit. Oh, I missed. Yes. Ho ho ho! I think I'm actually gonna win this time, guys. Oh, finally!
That's it.
Oh, man.
The athlete wins the day.
One more time.
No, that's enough for me.
All right.
I don't think it was rage, it was more just sheer frustration.
Are you sure?
Gambling debts are debts of honor.
It's funny how he blamed him for being British
I'll
when
give
he's
it back to you
American.
when I don't need it anymore. Okay?
Okay, but make sure my mom doesn't catch you with it. She thinks it's dangerous.
Your mum's right. We can do some dangerous things with it. Alright, let's have a look over here. See if we can bother these two lovebirds.
Miss Miller and the professor are talking intensely. She seems pretty relaxed, by her standards.
Have they met before?
Good morning, Miss Miller. Professor Lucien?
Constable Zellner, how are you? I heard you passed out last night.
Well, not quite. I was poisoned.
Oh.
That wretch!
That wretch?
Who do you mean by that wretch?
That stowaway. That new raven.
The young man can't be the murderer. Constable Oliver had already apprehended him when the shot was fired.
You mean...
Whoever killed the Baroness is still on the loose.
I think I should take my leave. I'd like to rest for a while.
One last question,
Suspicious.
Professor. Do you think the eye is well protected in the safe in Legrand's cabin?
Of course it is. They assured me that it would take hours of work with heavy machinery to crack the safe. And if Legrand isn't in his cabin, Constable Oliver or I check that everything is in order every hour.
I understand.
I want to go back to my cabin. I'll see you later, Mary.
Oh, of course. See you later.
You'll see her later. He said that in a very come hither way.
I didn't want to interrupt your conversation with Professor Lucien so abruptly.
I don't know what's wrong with him.
Learning that there's still a burglar on board seemed to frighten him.
He was so relaxed the whole time, and then...
And then the stupid Swiss constable came by and made him anxious.
Oh, I didn't mean that.
No matter. I'm sure he'll calm down and come back soon enough. May I ask you a few questions?
Of course.
Let's talk about Matty.
How is Matt? He seems happy enough.
After all the commotion, he's already back to his old self again. But I haven't told him about the murder. That would be a bit too much for him.
I think he's made of sterner stuff.
I want to thank you again for what you did on the train. I wouldn't have known...
Everything's fine. Think nothing of it.
Now I'm starting to get like a weird suspicion that maybe she's working with the Professor Lucien. And Professor Lucien's actually the Raven. And she's like his accomplice or something. Or maybe I'm just being a bit too suspicious.
How was last night for you?
It was awful. I was having a conversation with Edgar, Professor Lucien, here on the forecastle. Then I wanted to look for the lady and went forward via the side deck. When I passed the Baroness's cabin, I heard a muffled scream.
You heard a scream?
Yes. I thought the Baroness probably had a fall. I went to the door and listened for a moment. Since I couldn't hear anything, I knocked on the door and asked whether she was all right. There was no answer.
Interesting. And then?
I didn't know what to do, so I tried to open the door. It was locked. I saw the Baroness's butler, Mr. Inch, on the forecastle. I thought he might have the key and went back. On the way, the bobby crossed my path, and then Edgar, who wanted to check the safe. I explained the situation to him, and then the alarm went off.
Interesting. I thought the butler said he didn't know anything about it.
How did the scream sound?
It was a short outcry, very frightened, as if someone had been startled.
Was it a woman's voice?
Yes, the voice was high.
So it could have been a scream from the Baroness. Possibly because she discovered someone in her cabin.
Possibly.
That person might have threatened her with a weapon, so that she wouldn't scream for help.
Oh, God.
He waited until the coast was clear.
Oh, please, stop it, Mr. Zellner.
That wouldn't explain why she was laying down and then he shot her in the heart.
The Baroness's butler said that he was on the forecastle as well?
Yes, he was standing on the other side of the deck smoking a cigarette.
Was he on the forecastle the whole time?
I'm not sure. He was there, and later he was on the side deck with us. Oh, yes, he looked after you while you were unconscious. He unbuttoned your collar and held your head while the doctor checked you.
But you can't say for certain whether he came from the forecastle with you and Professor Lucien, or afterwards.
Well, no. But where else could he have come from?
Interesting. Now it sounds like the butler's lying about something. And yeah, her jaw is really flapping around. Like it's not even connected to anything.
Did you report that to Inspector Legrand?
Yes, last night. He was very interested and took a lot of notes. But I wanted to look for Lady Westmacott, and he let me go without further delay. He said that he'd take down my full statement today.
I understand.
Do you think the man from the train also killed the Baroness, Constable Zellner?
I don't know yet.
It's horrible. Explosions, thieves, murderers. This isn't the right place for a lady and a little boy.
Too true.
You and Professor Lucien seem to be having a lively conversation.
A very intimate conversation.
Oh, yes. He's an expert in ancient Egyptian art and preeminent in hieroglyphic research. He's the head of the Egyptian department in the British Museum, you know. And he's going to open an exhibition at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo.
Right. For the eye.
They had planned on exhibiting both jewels together for the first time in decades, but that's not going to happen now, sadly. I think it's quite upsetting for him.
We're working hard to ensure that at least one eye will be on display.
I know. I'll ask Lady Westmacott if she'd like to participate in the opening of the exhibition. I think it would be good for her.
And Professor Lucien will surely offer you a private tour.
A very private tour.
You're American, aren't you?
That's correct.
And you moved to England because of the job?
I lived in England before. During the Second World War, I volunteered. I worked in a pharmacy on a US base north of London.
In a pharmacy? Interesting.
Very interesting.
The war and everyone was sent where they could help best.
Please, go on, Mrs. Miller.
After the war, I studied music in London. I met my husband there. We married and went back to the States together.
He was also American?
No, English. But he said he had problems with his family, and he wanted to be as far from them as possible.
And you gave up your studies for him?
Well, yes, I did.
Ah. So she has knowledge about the chemical stuff. See, now I've got another new theory going on in my head. What if she's actually the father of Matt is one of the Baroness's sons that went missing, and the Baroness is now like the Baroness caught on that Matt was one of her grandson and like her only living heir, and she wanted to take her away. And then Matt's mother was like, no, I'm not going to have that happen. So she doses the Baroness and kills her to stop her from being able to take Matthew away. That's probably not it, but you know, I like the idea of the drama.
Life as a single mother couldn't have been easy.
It was pretty tough then. I worked from morning till night, and it was still only enough for the bare necessities. and I couldn't give Matt all the attention he needed.
And then Lady Westmacott entered your life.
It was like an angel appeared to me. She must have offered me the position out of pity. I had no experience as a carer. She made me a generous offer. I couldn't believe it. And she really adores Matt. She's offered him a good education, and now he has every opportunity in life.
An almost unbelievable story.
I'm still afraid that it's a dream and that I'll wake up one day.
What a nice lady.
How does it feel to work for such a world-famous person?
The work is very interesting and varied, and it pays well too.
You are very lucky that the lady offered the position to you.
I just hope she won't change her mind one day. What would become of Matt's education then? I really make an effort to measure up to Lady Westmacott's expectations, but sometimes I feel like I fall short.
Lady Westmacott couldn't ask for a better companion.
I'm saving up as much money as I can all the same. I'd do anything so that Matt doesn't have to give up his new life.
I just suspect everyone or everything. It's better to like get a general idea of what everyone could be suspect to, and then you can figure out what actually fits. Like with all of the little stories, because they all kind of need to fit together somehow to make the main point.
Lady Westmacott dropped a hint on the train that she killed her hero, Partout. What did she mean by that?
Oh, she must have meant the manuscript.
Manuscript?
She always takes it with her. It's an unpublished Partout novel. I once asked her why she never published it. She said that according to her will, the novel's only to be published after her death.
And in it, Partout will be killed?
Maybe. I've never read it. No one has. You'd better ask her yourself.
If you worked in a pharmacy, you would certainly know something about medicines and poisons.
Everything is a potential poison, Constable. It depends on the dose.
Have you ever heard of chloral hydrate?
It's a tranquilizer, isn't it?
I'm asking you.
Well, Lady Westmacott also asked questions like that, for her last novel. But since I've never wanted to kill anyone, I never bothered with things like strychnine and arsenic and all that. I could recommend something for a headache, a sore throat, or rash.
That's kind of you, but there's really no need. I'll be seeing you, Miss Miller.
Constable?
Well, as a chemist, you would have to know what would be poisonous when mixed with other drugs, so that you don't give someone 2 prescriptions and they end up killing themselves. So she's not entirely truthful about that. She would know things that would mix together to make something that could kill you or harm you in some way. Part of being a chemist. Right, I don't have anything to actually put into his bottle. I'm guessing it's not something to do with that. Oh no, can I mix the slingshot with the stones?
The little stones make perfect ammunition for the slingshot. Now I just need a suitable target.
Wonder if I can target him. Come on, let me target him.
He could be more cooperative, but in the end, he's just doing his job. No reason to shoot a stone at his head.
Aw, I want to shoot a stone at his head. Yeah, blame all the elves. They're usually involved in it some way. Okay, so I can't throw... I wonder if I can... Because he wants his water there. What if I use a slingshot on his water? Oh! Seems to be doing something.
blazes was that?
What?
What?
Something hit me!
You
Wasn't
mean
me.
someone shot at you?
Yes, well, no, I don't know. Didn't you notice anything?
I was riveted by the fantastic view. We Swiss aren't used to seeing the horizon like this.
And my bottle's broken too! Oh, I don't believe this.
Huh. And he just went back to sleep. Let's look at the shards.
The bottle is nothing more than broken glass in a puddle. If Constable Oliver gets thirsty now, he'll be in a bind. I should help out.
What do you want?
Inspector Legrand is questioning the first of the passengers in the saloon.
And?
It will be hours before he gets to the stowaway.
And?
We'll save time if I question him.
We'd also save time if you stopped asking me the same things over and over again. I will not let you in. What time is it, by the way?
Got an appointment?
No, but I'm hungry.
Go and get yourself something. I'll mind the door in the meantime.
Aha. You could bring me something.
He knows
though.
better.
So, what do you want to eat?
Oh, anything. An apple or something like that.
There's ham and eggs in the saloon.
Can't touch him.
Why not?
Sergeant Mills.
Hmm?
He's responsible for the fitness of the unit, and he'll chew you out if he thinks you've packed on a few pounds.
I see. Leave it with me.
Yeah, thanks.
They don't worry about that so much nowadays. Always seeing like really large policemen walking around. Usually amazed if they can actually run after someone. Anything up above? Maybe someone being sleuthy up there? No, I think we've seen everything up here. Nothing new. Let's go downstairs. Do a quick save before it goes nuts on me again. Okay. So he wants something from kitchen to eat. I'll take something to eat.
Whatever Constable Oliver wants, he's getting ham and eggs. And just a pinch of salt for our friendly constable.
Oh, making him thirsty.
Good.
That's not ham and eggs, that's bacon and eggs. It's a weird thing to call it.
Constable Oliver.
Huh?
Ham and eggs, piping hot.
Oh, I shouldn't really.
I don't see anyone here who'd rebuke you. It was a hard night.
Yeah, true. Oh, delicious.
Nom nom nom.
Just enough salt.
He's gonna have a heart attack with that much
That
salt.
was good of you. Cheers.
You don't expect me to wash your dirty dishes as well, do you?
Oh, of course not, Your Majesty.
Doesn't even seem to have eaten it.
Could you bring me something to drink? Those ham and eggs were pretty salty.
I'm sorry. I have to proceed with my investigations. Goodbye.
Uncle Zellner.
Let's see how long he can resist his thirst.
Which means surrounded by all that water.
Not
And
long
he's
at
gone.
all.
Go and question this dude. We are one sneaky asshole.
Nervous? I would be too in your position.
Who is he?
Who are you?
My name is Adil. And you are?
Constable Zellner. Why did you sneak onto the ship, Adil?
I wanted to go back home.
You're Egyptian?
There's no work for me in Italy. I want to see my family again.
And since you don't have money, you stowed away.
So
Doesn't
what if
sound
I did?
Egyptian. Sounds American. Did he knock me out?
So, it was you who knocked me out.
Me? Never.
No? Where were you when I was attacked?
Well, I couldn't take anything with me on this trip, so I snuck into the kitchen and took some canned goods.
Interesting. And how do you know when I was attacked?
Well, I thought it was yesterday, shortly before we set sail.
I take this bump personally.
Why am I seeing a mouse? There's a mouse cursor. Ah. Oh, never mind. I'm seeing things. The murder.
What were you searching for on deck last night?
I was hiding the whole evening. I wanted to go out and get some fresh air, see the stars. But then suddenly, they were looking for me.
Were you in one of the cabins?
No!
Did you see anyone on the deck or on the roof?
No!
And after we arrested you?
The English policeman put me in this cell. Then he left. I've been here ever since.
And you didn't notice anything along the way?
No, nothing.
Very odd cell.
What about the gunshot? Didn't you hear it?
Yes, the English policeman had already arrested me. We heard a bang and looked around.
And then?
Then, the Bobby was in a hurry to get rid of me. He almost pushed me down the stairs and locked me in here. He left, and then a short time later, the alarm went off.
Constable Oliver wasn't with you anymore when the alarm went off?
No. I was scared that the ship would sink with me sitting here like a rat in a trap.
Interesting. So where was the constable?
It's hard for me to believe a single word of your story.
Because I'm a foreigner?
Because you seem to have learned our language in the space of a day. Accent-free.
Believe what you want.
You're obviously American, dude.
Who paid you to distract us?
What?
You went for a walk around the deck and let yourself be seen. Everyone goes off hunting you, and in the meantime, your partner shoots the Baroness in peace.
No, I didn't do anything. I didn't want to distract anyone. I just want to go home.
You're a liar, and a bad one at that.
But sir, I'm telling the truth.
And I'm the Raven. Inspector Legrand will deal with you. He's lying like a cheap rug. But he probably doesn't know anything about the murder. Very disappointing. So I have to keep searching. What interests me most is the shot that was fired here in the cargo hold last night.
So it's a good idea if we investigate around here again. So last time we had an issue with Zellner fell through a bullet hole. We couldn't get him out again.
Whoever fired the shot hit the crate.
So many new things to press.
The cargo hold also seems to serve as a changing room for the crew. At least for the ones who don't wear white uniforms.
Let's have a look inside. Locked.
A stroke of luck. The lock is open.
A doctor's
Oil-stained
bag.
overalls. And here, an old toolbox.
Ah, toolbox. Now that's useful.
It's been through a lot. Hardly any paint, dented, and the lid is held shut by a wire. I'll take it with me.
But the wire or the whole box?
Some wrenches, a bit of wire wool, an oily cloth, and here, a screwdriver.
Oh, yes. Every mystery game needs a screwdriver. And we've got some wire now, so we can use it to open that door. The one that we needed a key for.
I've got the screwdriver. That's all I need.
And the wire. Just gonna be on the wire.
Did the shooter just want to intimidate me? Or maybe he needed the bullet.
Well, it didn't sink through that time. Right, one more time.
Can't see anything. If the bullet is still stuck in the wood, it's too deep to reach with my fingers.
Okay. Oh wait, it's too deep to reach with my fingers. Can we use the tongs?
No. The bullet hole is too small for the tongs.
Would the screwdriver help?
Well, I think the bullet is still in the wood.
Ah, we got
I'm
it.
a weapons specialist, but at first sight, I'd say that this bullet looks exactly the same as the one Dr. Gebhardt gave me for Legrand. That would mean that the murderer also fired a shot here in the cargo hold before the murder. But why?
That
Did
tricksy
they just
elf.
want to make sure the old guns still worked? Or was it something else? And did the bullet really come from the same gun? I can only check that in Legrand's cabin.
Which we now have a piece of wire to break into. Where are you going? Oh, that's not where I was telling you to go. Oh no, we've been caught.
That takes the biscuit.
I noticed that the door was unguarded. I just wanted to make sure that everything was all right.
Tell it to Legrand. He's expressly forbidden anyone to speak to the witness before he does.
Don't act like that. Legrand can't manage all this alone. We're a team.
Only until the end of this case.
Legrand already knows and gave his approval.
Really? So you don't mind me confirming that with him then?
All right.
Oh,
Let's go
lying
to Legrand
Zelna.
and tell him what happened. You fell asleep and then you left the door unguarded. Well, are we going?
Trixie Zelna.
No, but don't try it again.
Of course not.
I like the way he's so cheerful while he does these things. He's got like that old man, I don't give a damn anymore attitude to him. I doubt she went and got shot and then had to lay down. Especially as she was shot directly in the heart, so she would have died immediately. Although that bloodstain's in an odd place. Alright, let's break into Legrand's laboratory. No, we still haven't got that blood stain thing. I swear there must be something to get this stain with in here. Let's see, I need some wire.
The lock isn't especially secure. I should be able to open it with the wire from the cargo hold.
Hell yes. Break an entry. Oh. Right, how do I... I don't get this. I don't know what I'm doing. Huh. Okay, so I need that middle bit higher. Take it out. Try that again. We're closer. I feel like this game's teaching me how to be a criminal. Alright, we need a little bit more. Is that it? That middle one still. Definitely suspecting Zelna of having an interesting life. Okay, is that it? Middle one's that far end one still. Okay. Okay, little bump higher. This one higher. That one. Is that it? Please let that be it. This is getting boring. Wait, no, is that not it? Wait, what? I'm not sure I understand. Wait, do they need to be all above the black line? Well, I mean, I know how to do a bit of lock picking, but this is a bit crazy. Yeah, this. I'm really not feeling this. Come on. Yes. It had to be above the black line.
There we go.
I am the Raven. I wouldn't mind his mask. His mask will look really nice. Let's have a look. I just can't believe he's only been there for one night and he's managed to make this much of a mess. Why does he have like 20 ashtrays over in the corner there? What do you need all them ashtrays for? I'm investigating myself.
Neatly folded and unused. Legrand hasn't slept since we cast off, nor on the train.
Why would he be sleeping on the sofa? You think these rooms would come with a bed? Bit odd. Ooh, a safe.
A lockmaster and son. Tough to crack. If I wanted to steal the eye, I'd concentrate on getting the 3 keys. If everything goes according to plan, the first time this monster is opened will be in the museum in Cairo. Fingers crossed.
Reading so much stuff on top of it. Doesn't seem to care that much about the actual safe. Ooh, food. Did he have his dinner last night?
There's nothing written on the bottle. I suppose it's some sort of stimulant, legal or not. Legrand has been awake for at least 30 hours straight, maybe more.
When you start taking stimulants and you stay awake that long, your judgment is so impaired. Why would you do that as an investigator? You're gonna make crazy mistakes.
I shudder to think what kind of side effects this stuff might have. A policeman on a murder investigation should have his wits about him. The risk that he could miss evidence or endanger himself and others is too high.
Exactly, Uncle Zelna. It looked like he was having a nosebleed earlier as well. In the bathroom when we walked in on him.
Legrand's file on the Raven. Centimeters thick, but totally useless. We're not dealing with the Raven. Why can't he see that? Our man is ruthless, a bomber, and quite probably a murderer. This file belongs in a museum. It's history. The inspector should concentrate on the present.
Well, that's ironic, seeing as the stealing's being done in museums and of museum artifacts. And the Raven's case file should be in a museum.
This is the pipe from the cargo hold. Legrand seems to have inspected it for fingerprints. I can still make out the powder.
Do you find anything?
No. Nothing to see on the end of the pipe that the attacker held. Either he wore gloves or he cleaned the pipe.
Which brings us back to that doctor again and his constant need to wear gloves.
Aha! That's the bullet the doctor removed from the Baroness's corpse.
And we've got another bullet that we need to compare. Right, there's nothing else to look at on the table. Ooh. Play with old school equipment.
A microscope. Looks like the one that Lutz Reichinger uses in his pharmacy, just more modern. There's nothing on the slide, and therefore nothing to see.
Can we put the bullets in there and have a look to compare them? Well, first I'll look at this board. He turned a painting around to use it as a board.
Legrand must have taken them yesterday at the crime scene.
Got them developed quick.
Yes. The bed, the blood spot. The spot on the sheet is much bigger than the one on the mattress. There's blood on the blanket as well. A lot of blood, I'd say. Yes, that's how we found her yesterday. I think. I wasn't really myself at the time. This photo provides an overview of the crime scene.
Interesting.
A rough diagram of the ship. Legrand marked the Baroness's cabin. Seems like he didn't turn up anything else of note. Shot in her sleep. She didn't feel a thing. She went to sleep and never woke up.
That's comforting, at least. I mean, I'd rather die in my sleep than know that, you know, I'm being murdered and bleeding out. The fiancé. I'm not sure she said that he was on the ship. Maybe he is the elf, though.
The blanket and the sheet are gone. I guess they're in the medical center. No. Nothing suspicious.
So we need to get into the medical center next. Have a route through there. What else? What is that?
Legrand must have taken and developed the photos himself. He even made copies and enlargements. He seems to be prepared for everything, with access to more resources than a normal detective.
He seems a bit crazy. You know, he's a bit obsessed. Maybe that's why he carries around so much equipment. I want to have a look at that sink.
Smells like chemicals. Legrand probably developed the photos in here.
Search the
There are
bathroom.
still fragments of the syringe that the inspector broke in the sink. Why is he pushing himself like this? Even if he catches the Raven, is it worth ruining his career and his health?
To some people it is. Oddly enough. The alarm.
Another alarm. It was tripped at some point, but there's no way to determine when.
Why is that board still saying I can look at it? Did we miss something on it? Finish the investigation. Alright, so there's nothing on there. Alright, I want to see if I can put the bullets. Bullet from the cargo hold into there. Do a comparison.
Okay.
Fantastic. And then want to put the other one in.
All right.
Okay, now let's have a look. Do they match up? Not there. They don't seem to be. No. What about here? No. Nope. Nope. That's almost, but no. Doesn't seem like it's come from the same gun. None of these are really matching. I mean, this bit's close.
That's the proof. Whoever shot the Baroness also fired the shot in the cargo hold.
But they're not matching.
What could that mean?
It looks like it's two different guns to me, but... Well, if you say so, Uncle Zelna, I will trust you, because I've never really done that before. I've only ever seen it in the movies. Seems to know an awful lot, Uncle Zelna, for someone who's never done a murder investigation before. Nope, nothing there still. Anything else? Can we test this somehow? Oh, there's something over in the corner. What is that?
A masterpiece. Forensic teams use kits like these. They're placing increasing importance on the preservation of evidence. But not in Switzerland yet. It's a small lab used to conduct simple analysis on site.
Interesting. Can we take something out of it so that we can get a sample of the blood stain?
All right. What have we got here?
Ooh. Ooh. Man. Some of this looks like gardening equipment. This looks amazing though. Love these little trunk things that have got little compartments.
Half of the tools in this box will be interesting for an archaeologist as well. Actually, forensics and archaeology are really quite similar to each other. The goal is to find out what happened, whether a few hours ago or a few centuries ago.
Very true, Uncle Zelna.
I'm sure Legrand could work magic in this alchemist's lab. Me, I'm just awestruck.
Has to be something we can use.
Good lord.
Good lord what?
Good lord.
Just good lord. That is a lot of chemicals.
A small glass bowl for mixing chemicals. For forensics in the woods or the open country, I suppose. No use on a ship.
No. What's that at the bottom?
Fingerprints are overrated. Smart thieves wear gloves, or they make sure that there are too many fingerprints at the crime scene to check them all.
That's a good point. What's that?
What's this? Oh, how practical. A hermetically sealed cotton swab for collecting samples.
That's what we need for that
I'll
blood
take it.
stain. Ah, finally. Open with a screwdriver. Oh, closed it. Anything in here? Examine the booklet.
Ah, this is some kind of inventory list. For each chemical, it lists the chemical composition and a short comment on how to use it. And here's a list of the most important procedures. Fingerprints, gunshot residue, blood. I don't have to analyze the pillow and feathers to determine whether there's gunshot residue. I can smell it. And I don't have any other clues at the moment.
Oh, we'll get there, Uncle Zelna. Okay. I think we have to come back for that one. Well, anyway, it has been 2.5 hours. I'm getting tired and hungry. So I'm going to leave it there. Save on up. And continue this at another point, probably tomorrow. Anyway, thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed this. Certainly is being a very interesting game. No idea who's done it this time. Way too many people to pick from. Anyway, thanks for stopping by.